Overwatch has a lot of abilities in the game, obviously. Some are far more powerful than others, and I thought today I'd try to do a top 10 list of the most powerful and impactful abilities in the entirety of Overwatch. I am trying to look at these abilities in a vacuum, which means on their own, how much value and how much impact does every ability individually have in the game. Without further ado, let's jump right in with number 10, Zarya Bubble. You are invulnerable during bubble. That is a very, very strong trait to have. To be taking 0 damage, to be not, CCable, booped, anything like that is extremely, extremely strong. And it gives direct power to the Zarya when you shoot the bubble. It makes her do more damage. Also use a bubble on yourself or the ally, which makes it even more strong. I'm kind of including that as one, which sure could be a cop-out on the very first ability in this ranking, but the bubble is the exact same between these two uses. They're just different keybinds, but the ability is the same. Objectively, Zarya's bubbles are a really, really powerful tool, especially when you have 2 of them. I think if you were to give Zarya bubble to any other hero, you would they would become extremely strong. And this is why you will see that Zarya Genji team comps where Genji's able to dash in, take a lot of pressure, soak up a lot of damage, and not get stunned due to a bubble. Moving on to number 9, which in my opinion is a very underrated ability, Mei's Wall. Mei's Wall is extremely versatile. First off, I really do think it is a very versatile cooldown. Obviously, it is mostly now used as a dueling tool where you are able to cut off angles and isolate a target to make a free kill, which is extremely powerful. You're able to literally put up a wall in the map, and you can place it anywhere at all different types of orientations. It is very powerful to be able to cut off angles, especially in 5v5 Overwatch, which is super, super angle dominated, and tanks are also, alone. So when you're able to get a cut off on a tank, they are very, very vulnerable to dying. So cut off resources. Say Lucio is speeding into a team, but you're able to cut off that engage and split out one of them. That is incredibly powerful. It's just a difficult cooldown to really get that maximum value out of, which is why it might rank a little lower, because not every single use case is necessarily that crazy. Number 8 is going to be Ram's Nemesis form. Again, kind of a cop-out because it's a transformation ability, which means it gives you 2 extra abilities. So I'm kind of almost tying those in together. So yeah, but technically it's extremely powerful because it gives you 2 bonus abilities, which is stronger than most abilities that do one thing. But I'm going to sort of combine them. Block is ridiculously strong. I've gone on about why block is really, really strong thousands of times. It is just incredible mitigation. A character already has loads of health and he's able to move during it, and it lasts as long as the Nemesis form lasts. It's not that you can shoot it for 1,000 damage and it breaks. It is an infinite amount of damage mitigation. There is no threshold. In my opinion, they need to really rework it a bit to have a threshold where maybe if it reaches a certain amount, it mitigates a bit less damage and eventually it breaks and things like that. But you're able to basically go in and kite out for free while taking no damage because you can actually just walk backwards during it, especially if you play with Lucio or Juno who are able to speed you out. His punches also do a ridiculous amount of damage. Not that it's the most broken part of his kit, but it is really, really strong. This is a insanely high damage tool in the game, especially on a tank, and they pierce shields. And I'm a Brigitte player, so I really do not enjoy Ramatra's punches very much because they can hit me through the shield. What is even the point? Anyway, that's a slight bias. Anyway, moving on to number 7. Lucio's Amp. Now, I'm throwing in a bit of see, the Lucio's Amp is really powerful, guys, because in professional play, it's very important. But yeah, it is really strong. Sure, maybe not every single game Amp is having maximum value, but specifically Amp speed is extremely powerful. And again, like I said, especially the higher the rank you go, it just kind of becomes even more powerful, even more useful. 1, when the Lucio play gets better, and 2, when the team start actually capitalizing on Amp speed. And then to chuck more into that, the perk he currently has that increases the range of Amp makes this even more disgustingly broken. It was not actually broken, but you get the point. It's strong. It's an instantaneous team-wide speed boost, and a fast one at that. It's extremely useful. I mean, you can go, can I even begin to list all the uses? I mean, engages, disengages, rotations, peeling, for targets on yourself. Even just like a rollout, you can get back into the fight within like seconds, like literally like 5 seconds, you can just be right back in the fight and helping your team. I mean, it's just so strong. And when used in the right hands with the right team, in the right situation, there is not many abilities that can match it on its power level and its impact on a fight. Moving on, next up, I have Mercy Res. Ooh, a little bit of a spicy one because people don't really think Mercy's that strong and things like that. But I think Mercy Res is objectively incredibly strong. Not that I think it currently is overtuned and needs anything done to it, because the ability is balanced by the fact its cooldown is, the length of 2 team fights. But I think bringing back someone from the dead is just technically quite powerful and quite useful. Obviously, it kind of depends what the ally died. If the ally died in the middle of a fight, you probably can't get that res off. But say you're just with an Ashe on a nice angle, Ashe gets a pick and then gets picked, you can just res her, and suddenly she hasn't been traded. I feel like bringing someone back from the dead is like almost maximum value. Like there is almost not much more value you could possibly get out of an ability other than literally bringing someone back. Obviously, because of its extremely long cooldown and the fact that you have to be so close and there's a bit of a cast time, I wouldn't call it the most powerful ability in the entire game. But if we're doing an objective metric in terms of impact and power of abilities, it does rank high. Next up, another block, Hazard Block. I think Hazard Block is really, really strong. If you just, on paper, it's such a strong ability. I think it is the most overloaded ability in the entire game. It has damage mitigation, it's an AoE damage tool, and it reloads your gun. And you can also move during it, use it during like jumps, and it's a very, very versatile ability. I mean, people use it as the main way of doing things to people. They will, they will shift, slash, and then just hold right click and walk out. The ability is kind of the backbone of his kit. I think it's just a really, really strong ability. I mean, it literally is defining the way hazards end up playing. They play around this block resource, and it's a resource. It reloads really, really, really quick. I just don't think an ability probably should do this many things at once. I think it's quite a lot, high mitigation and damage and reloading, and it's AoE. Like, I think it's quite excessive, and especially because you literally can move during it. It's a bit much, but I think, yeah, it's a very powerful ability. Next up is Baptiste's Immortality Field, Bap Lamp, whatever you want to call it, right? I mean, it's Immortality Field. It is AoE Immortality. Now, do I think Baptiste is the strongest right now? And do I think Field is as good as it used to be in 66? No, because obviously, mobility, angle dominance, everyone's split up a lot more. So, like, the AoE nature of Immo Field is not really getting that much use case in the 5v5 landscape. But again, an objective metric of power, it is potentially team-wide immortality, and that is extremely strong. I don't think I need to put much more into that. This is maybe a dark horse pick or whatever, or some people, this is obvious pick, but Symmetric Teleport, I mean, that's an insane value sealing ability, like ridiculous. A full team teleportation ability with actually really good range that you can also recast, and then recast again, and then recast again, and then recast again. I mean, that's quite strong. I mean, teams like Twisted Minds are obviously abusing this to literally just flip fights on people and just basically make positioning invalid within seconds because of a TP. So that's what I'm saying. Now, that ceiling is extremely high. I mean, in most ranked games, I feel like teleport is strong, but it's not getting, it's not getting that level of value that you're seeing in these professional games. But in theory, this is a game-breaking ability. Like, this objectively does kind of just break the game. I am a bit of a weirdo, but I do actually like SimTP. I know. Hate me what you want. I'm aware of how broken it is, but I think it's funny. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I think it's a funny ability. But it does break the game. It breaks the game. It probably shouldn't be that strong. Anyway, moving on. My penultimate pick is Honor's Nade. I mean, it's a 2-for-1 deal. A perfect ability to be up here, right? Anti-Nade probably has some of the highest potential value of any ability. I've said that for a couple abilities, but it really does. I mean, it's an AoE ability that literally removes healing. And again, I'm going to say the funny word again. In 5v5, this is kind of disgusting. Solo tank. It's just really, really strong. It lasts actually a pretty decent duration, especially for the fast-paced nature of the game currently. Nade is quite a long time. You really are out of the fight for a good few seconds. And that has a really high impact, especially higher up you go when fights are, possibly 10 seconds long. Just a well-placed nade will instantly win a fight because it can hit multiple people at once. But On top of that, it does also have the potential to be a way to save your entire team or a teammate, because it does give a shit ton of healing, and it amps the amount of healing someone might receive. So you could amp a tank with it, and then give like 2 shots, and they'll basically be full health. And there are some scenarios, I mean, I'm not going to really count this too much into its strength, but there are some scenarios where you could get both effects at once. If some angles, some more congested spaces, maybe on a King's Row in a brawlier setting, you could get the nade to splash and kind of hit a teammate and an enemy. I think anti-nade is extremely strong, and that's why its cooldown is so high. I've always had a really weird rework in mind for anti-nade, and I know people would hate it probably because it removes from the fantasy of Honor, but I think in 5.5 it's the only way it would ever work, is where instead of being a full no healing, it would be reduced like 75% less healing, and then you'd be able to shorten the cooldown of nade, because Honor players want to use their abilities, not wait an entire team fight to use one ability, but then also people don't like being antied. Quick sidebar, by the way, increasing cooldowns does not make an ability more fun to play against. It actually just, it makes the ability weaker, sure, because it gets used less, but it actually makes them more unfun to play against, because now it feels even more random. It feels like, oh hey, this fight I didn't even get antied, and now I suddenly get antied. The effect still happens, but it makes the potency of the effect even more annoying and disruptive. So I really hate cooldown increases, like to an extent. Obviously, you know, don't have a cooldown like this be 5 seconds, but 15 or 14, whatever it is quite brutal. And it doesn't even remove the frustration of anti-nade. In fact, it might even increase the frustration. All right, moving on to number 1. It was kind of hard to choose between this and nade, but I think Kiriko Suzu is just the strongest ability in the game. I mean, it's AoE, healing, cleansing, and invulnerability. Not even just immortality, you're invulnerable. Like Doomfist, my favorite example is just if Doomfist punched you in Suzu, he would fly through you. Like he wouldn't even hit you and then do no damage. He would fly through you. You don't exist when you are Suzu'd. You have disappeared for a second. It is like actually a magic trick. And I think that invulnerability part is what makes Suzu so oppressive. This thing just actually instantly will flip fights. You'll see it time and time again in professional play, high ranked games. You know, there'll be an insane ult going on, a huge ult fight going in. Kiriko will just TP in Suzu the floor, hit our entire team with it. They're all back up to full health, and the ultimate did no damage to them, and now they can win the fight for free. It's such a strong ability. It's kind of a bullshit ability, if you ask me. AoE immortality, like again, AoE immortality. So it's like Immo Field, except you can use it at a better range. It's on a shorter cooldown, and it heals them, and it cleanses them with effects. Yeah, and you can't like get rid of it. It just happens. Yeah, it's an incredibly powerful cooldown. It really can shut down every high value ability. Every ability I've just mentioned will get shut down by Suzu, and it can stop most ults from doing anything in the entire game. It's a ridiculous cooldown. Like, it is actually such an overloaded and strong ability, and it has been for such a long time, and they haven't even tried to really shift what Suzu does. They just kind of changed the numbers of it. That's a bit shit. Anyway, that's the ranking of the 10 most strong abilities inside of Overwatch. Feel free to disagree, agree, do whatever. Yeah, peace out.